So I want to talk about the contrast between political altruism and nationalism. I've been reading a book called One World by Peter Singer, which I've done a video about already. And what goes on in that book, he's talking about how we all live in one world and how we should, ethically live that way. So there's a lot of concepts to sort through, a lot of things to sort through in that book, which I will be doing more videos about. But I want to think about, I did a video about altruism just now. And altruism is, whether it's ethical or political, is kindness, benevolence, love, even, or friendship. But basically, mainly kindness and genuineness and benevolence towards all people, and not giving priority to any 21 set of people, or any one person. Um, Altruism goes among all people. And Singer was kind of pointing out on the political, on the scale of political altruism, I don't think it's possible. I don't think he's kind of saying it's kind of difficult for political altruism to actually occur, because given a nation, the government of that nation is going to give priority to the people of that nation, to give priority over, give priority to, the German government will give priority to citizens of Germany more than priority over citizens of, say, Bosnia or Romania. When we have a sovereign nation, there's going to be a element of nationalism, no matter what. Especially if we're talking about a ethnic group that is specific to that nation. There's going to be a nationalism which is going to be of pride and priority to the nation that one lives in. In this country, the USA, we always say "God bless America, God bless America." We definitely do give priority to ourselves than to anybody else. The government gives priority to the U.S. more than they do, say, any other nation. And it's kind of interesting to look at that. And I think Singer is kind of pointing out the idea of there being one world, how we all live in one world, and how, say, the USA is not that far from, say, Germany, because we're all in the same place, really, and we should ethically and politically live that way. I think that's definitely a interesting thing to point out. And he's was almost also pointing out that the idea of there being sovereign nations is almost conflicting with the idea of political altruism, and I definitely agree that there being a sovereign nation is totally contradictory to there being political altruism in that nation. So I think the idea of a nationalism is of course priority to one's nation, priority to one's people, and priority over anybody from there. The whole "God bless America" thing. And I think nationalism is contradictory to, say, political altruism. So I think political altruism is a very difficult thing to have, because in ethical altruism, it's quite, it's a little bit easier, because you can just be kind and benevolent and good and giving to and selfless to everybody. Say you might give priority to, say, your wife than you would some other woman on the street, and that, I think, might need to be curved a little bit, but I still think that one's wife should be prior to anything, unless you have a child. I have a fiance, and I feel like she is prior to anybody, and I don't feel like it would be right to give, to be entirely altruistic in giving, in going and helping somebody when my wife is sick. I mean, that something like that can only go so far. But one can generally be ethically altruistic without without you know without still having your wife as the main priority. However, political altruism is is a much more difficult thing to achieve, especially when we have a sovereign nation, and every nation is a sovereign nation usually. And political altruism, it's it's really not justifiable by the whole nation to send troops to wherever when there's problems here. I don't think so. Political altruism is almost a conflicting concept in itself. So I'm gonna read more of this book and do more videos on it. So the book is mainly about globalization and humanization. It talks about these. It talks about a lot of political things as well as ethical things. A lot of those things pertaining to the environment. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you.